Hello, hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Today we're working on another page for the, oh gosh, Gothic, Gothic Poe journals. Almost forgot the name of it. Um, I'll explain it as I go along. I've got a little, addition to the story I've been telling about, Dad's family coming over. I found something out today. Exciting, exciting. I have to tell you about it. So let's get to the page that I finished with before. Okay, this was the last one with the bankers. And then over here we have, I don't really know what I wanted these people to be, but there was a group of 5 men. And then I had gotten this fun little, like a lace blanket kind of a thing, and it had these in it, and I cut a few out. Like I've got one back here because I thought that looked like propellers, and I used it throughout, and I thought it was really pretty. Looked like a daisy in some cases. I do have several little scraps of lace here. I had gessoed the background. This was part of something from one of my scrapbooks that I always loved. It's like the big cathedral over in Paris or something, and it has these beautiful kind of windows or alcoves that go up into a point, and it's some big cathedral. I don't know which one it is. I put some uh, copper colored washi on there, another little scrap of lace that I had, one of my favorite numbers. And then over here, I think this little girl actually comes out. She looks so sad. Look at her. This is one of those from Jody. It's a cabinet card, and it actually has her name on it, Della Moorhead. So they were selling it. Dolph Brothers, Erie, Pennsylvania, is where her little picture was taken, and now she's in my book. So we have one of the flowers. I snuck a number back here. There's some of the gold paints on here. Some of that gift wrap with the gold dot. I really love that. And this is, like I said, this was like the outer paper when I did the wildflowers, I believe. When I cut stuff out of the wildflowers, there was a cute little dot all over this. And I thought, well, let me just kind of grunge that up and I'll use it for pockets because there's pieces that were really wide on there. I didn't want to waste that, so I used it for that. I've got a lot of scrap back here. I've got like music paper, something about house repairs, one of those little clear stickers that I made way back when. I got a couple buttons, some more lace, little scrap of lace, I think, down along the bottom here. Yeah. So there we go. That is our sneaky peek for the day. And let's see. So this is the items that we're going to be working with. These 2 pages came out of the I think it's just called a Poe journal kit. I'm not really sure what she called it. At My Porch Prints. This is her on Etsy, and she has this at the bottom of each one of the pages you would print out. I guess it's just, telling you you can't steal it or whatever. It sums it up. Now, this type of thing could be used for several items. It could be used for like a big tag. You could use it for other things. I'm not exactly sure, but the way they have it to be made, there's like a little short pocket piece that actually goes on the bottom area here, and then you're supposed to stick items in it, maybe like this. But these are actually for a tag and envelope set. There is an envelope somewhere in the kit. I guess maybe I didn't print it or I didn't pull it out, I don't know. But these little pieces I'm using inside of these. Now, what happened? Where's one I can work with? I think I've done. Hang on, I'm all over the place. So I cut these out, and what happened was I saw somebody have those in their journal, and it was like the little envelope, and then, and then it had this inside of it. And it gave me the impression of a tombstone or a grave, per se. So that's what I have gone with. Now, I'm going to cut this other one out while I'm talking. And I'm going to show you how I fixed it. So, and this other piece, these are just some stickers of crosses. And I've been needing to use them up. And I'll have enough for 2 more of my sets. I got to do 4 of them. Now, this little piece here came from this. And I bought it Hobby Lobby back when they were kind of clearing out some of the items for Spellbinders and Tim Holtz. I got it for $6.74. And there's like 4 or 5 pieces. Okay, you have the 3, and they're like, you stack them, and can you see how that's small, that's medium, that's large? You can stack them, and you'll see the colors behind. It's real pretty. Oh yeah, here you go. You can kind of see how that would turn out. You do them with different colors. You can do them with 1, 2, or 3. It's a kaleidoscope, they call it. Kaleidoscope circle. They're really cool. I've got a lot of the brass ones now because I cut so many out. But it has an outside trim that could cut just a square. I love it when you've got multiples. So you could just cut out a big thing. And they're for a slimline card. I don't know if you've ever heard of a slimline, but it's similar to a legal size envelope kind of size. And it's made to go into a legal size envelope. But you'll make the card usually in this direction, or it could be the other, and it'll flip up, and you have a scene on the front. So that's kind of what this is. But this middle piece is what we're going with today. And you have to use the balls in the middle to cut out the centers, which I needed. So I had to do the whole kit and caboodle except for the tops of the balls. So there we go. And then I have a little strip of scrap. I've got some that's black, which I'll scuff up a little bit. And then I've got some that are just the tops of the map page that I had. So it's got a little bit of pretty on it. But they're only about 4 3/4 by, what is that, 1.5 or 1 3/4? Something like that. I was just cutting them down. Okay, well, let me start talking about what I found out. And it's because it's been in my mind for ages, and I've always wondered. And I was telling you about my grandparents coming over, and they came in segments, and they came on a cattle drive. I was told they brought the wagon and came with a cattle drive, so safety in numbers. They're coming through the wilderness, and they're coming across the whole breadth of West Virginia, basically. So I was told that, and I read in my notes, that Grandma and Grandpa were the 2 that came first. And I guess Aunt Elizabeth was home watching the children and taking care of them, because she was married at that time and had her own household and everything over there. So the children were being watched. Grandpa told Grandma to only pack the essentials. And then, yet, she was still having to leave things behind. Because there was this story about German Valley. And I never understood why they were doing German Valley when, that wasn't exactly a straight run to Bath County, which they settled in. Well, the thing was, you're in the West Virginia mountains, how high they can be. And, you had to go through certain places to be able to get through, the mountain passes and the gaps and that kind of thing. Well, I got to Googling. Google is my favorite thing. So I Googled, and I said something about cattle drive routes through West Virginia in the 1930s, or from West Virginia to Virginia in the 1930s. And it came up with they came up with the information I needed. I couldn't believe it. And it's self-explanatory. It says that and I need to do at least a few of these. But it said that the northern panhandle and the eastern panhandle, which I'll pull a map out here and show you in a second, were becoming very popular in the cattle trade, because something about the railroad routes had not opened up yet to bring cattle over through on the railway. So they still had to do these routes where they just drove them, like out in a western area. So they had certain routes to go to, and Elkins, West Virginia, is one of the places that they drove all the cattle to. And I guess from there they had some kind of a system set up to do things with them, ship them out by railway or whatever, or sell them at the stockyard. So then I looked at my map, and it's easy enough to see that once they got, and they went, and it explained that they went through like these routes coming across. Sometimes they were well-defined trails. Sometimes they were just little tiny paths that went through certain places. But I mean, some of these people would know these things. Drovers would be the ones that came back and forth. Now, I wasn't told that there was a drover per se that was with the group, because I was told it was Grandma's brother, James Harrison. He is the one that talked them into coming over in the first place. So he was along, and then Grandma's nephew, Roy White Markham, had come along. Now here's West Virginia. So this is the eastern panhandle that they're talking about. And they came from all the way over here. Where is it? It's Crum. Okay, right there. Crum, Kermit, Steptown. This little area right here is where my family come from. And that's where I always go do research. It's right beside Kentucky. There's the Tug River right in between. And I'm not exactly sure how they would have went. Maybe this way. Because I guess these major highways that go through West Virginia went through the easiest ways through the mountains. So I would say somehow their path went through here to Charleston. And then possibly this way. I don't know. But it looks like that might be more, the way they went. Now, up here where it says Spruce Knob and Seneca, that's in Pendleton County. This is where German Valley is. Now, that's where they went through, and it was so hard. It was such a steep, hard mountain to get up. The oxen were just straining. They had to leave things behind and stuff. And then Elkins, Elkins is right here. So when I'm thinking they drove the cattle here, then the family separated off, and it came down to this area here where German Valley is. And then this road right here goes through a valley. This 220 comes straight down, and about right here where Covington is a little bit too far. Right in here is Bath County, or Lake Moomaw and all that. This is about where they had their farm, right there where 39 is at. So, oh my gosh, I've been thinking and thinking on this for ages. Trying, go get my thing over here. Trying to figure it out. Oh my gosh. Don't you know? That's sort of a relief. Now, there's 2 of these. There's only 3 that can fit on a page. I think these are the 2 that won't be put on there. I'll use those for something else eventually. Now, when we're making, let me pull this down where you can see the numbers. Now, when we're making this, we're not using it as is. We're going to use it as a little sleeve, like a little pocket. So I want to take and do a 1/4 of an inch at the very bottom, and we're going to do a 1/2 of an inch on each side, and that's going to help fold it up. And I think I'm only going to do 1 right here to show you how it's done, because all 3 will be done exactly the same way. And then I'll figure out which one of these is the one that goes inside of there. I think it's that one. Okay, and those will go with those 2. So what we do next is we're going to take, and you can see where the cross goes across there where you've made your crease. Now you're going to go right up to the corner. You're going to do a little angle, as you see. Go right up to the corner, and then you're going to angle off like that and cut that bulk out. Now that always helps you fold, and you don't have a bunch of bumpies left behind. So then you're just going to fold it. You always want to fold the sides and then the bottom last. In any pocket you do. That's like gusseted like this. Because you're going to hit that bottom edge every time if he's the first one that goes down. I have learned that the hard way. Some of those large tag pockets that I've done, I have done that. Ooh. All right. I want to thank everyone for coming to visit. I really, really do appreciate you coming and watching and listening to some of my stories and what I got up to and what I got figured out on some of my, oh, I gotta pop that again, on some of my my makes, like this one. I don't know that I've seen anybody use their pieces from the kit like this, but that just hit me. And once I show you the finished product, you tell me if you think that looks like a casket. Because it really does to me. It really does. All right. So I always like to put a little bit of glue there and hold that down and have that ready to just be glued into the actual book or page or wherever you're putting it. And I'll go ahead and burnish it again. And so that part is done. And you have like a little bit of that slant that's still showing when you do your piece, and that really adds to it. It does. Now, see how this is not, it is not but white on the back. I'm going to scuff it. I'm just going to scuff it around just so it's got a color. Now, when you're doing the digitals and stuff, if you wanted to go all out and put an actual print on the back side of your paper, your cardstock paper that you've printed, go ahead. I'm always trying to find ways to save a little bit of money. So me scuffing it with just a little bit of ink does the trick for me. It gives it a rustic look. It will still be able to be written on. The other thing we need to do is I'm going to pick this piece to be, what it is an extension. I'm extending this card, this tag, to go into this. And see, it's too short at the moment. So I'm making it a little longer so it's going to stick out of it. So the first thing we need to do is, I do need to probably do the edges. I didn't ink around the card. That's what okay. On this side. I did the other side. So let's do that. And then we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue here. And I guess I'm going to call this my graves. the grave road. Now, I'm making sure the brown is the top part. And we're just going to put this right here against that crease as close as I can get it. Because what I did is I creased it right in the center. The piece ended up being 4 3/4, and then at about 2 3/8, I think is where you crease it. But I mean, you can feel it out. You can take a long piece and just break it down as you go along. Now, what I need to do next is glue again, glue down, across, and we're just gluing this together like that. And I'm going to fold it. I'm going to line it up against the base, and then we're just going to mush it down. Yep. I'll use this one, and I get a good flat surface mushed out with this one. Okay. There. Now, I've got to trim this off. There's a little bit thick, and I didn't want to make it too short. So I always put a little bit of extra on the end. And that's easily trimmed. And then I'm getting rid of the white. Yep. Okay. And that's ready to go. I do need to ink a little bit around the outside of this, just so the white core is not showing so badly. It has a little bit of white in the background here, but I'll leave that because a nice little splash of a different color is really nice. Okay, so watch this. Well, that's the wrong end, Rhoda. So here's the front. So you're going to push it down in there just like that. Now, what does that look like? Does that look like a grave to you? Like a casket sticking out of a mausoleum? Or that's what it looks like to me. All right, so let me go to the next step here, and I'll show you. Okay, is the next step. Here's our piece that we needed. I did dye a little bit of white lace, kind of grungy. I used some vintage photo to dip it in, and some ground espresso, I think it was. I just wanted it to be a little grungy. So that'll do at least 2 of my books. And the crosses that I told you about, I ended up using them on the top here where it would look like a casket, you know. Then the other thing was, that other kit that I got from Tracy Fox had these little ghoulish looking people like that. And I decided, I want to use those on the top of my tag, on the face of my tags. And I need to just do like that. And we're going to do like this and put them down. And I've got a few little goodies to show you here at the end. I've got some happy mail from Chestieta that she thankfully sent me. It's some more great stuff for the Halloween items that I need to do. I've got a few more things for the shop that I need to do desperately, and this stuff is perfect for it. Perfect. All right, and then we have this little guy. It looks like he's got a bat head. I'm not exactly sure, but he's got a skeleton head. So we're good with that. And then another thing, I don't know if it was you, Victoria. Somebody said they were into geology and rocks and such, and I was explaining on my Goshen Pass story about finding those rocks in the little nest like puddle up there, and they were all green at first, and then they started turning blue, and y'all wanted to see them. So, that goes over there. So I have a few of them, and I forgot to ink that one, but oh well. I don't think you can really tell. There. But yeah, I brought a few of those so you can kind of see where they're changing. And, you know, some of them have never changed. Some of them are still green. Maybe they're on the bottom of my little flower pot. I have a little clay flower pot that they've been sitting in out there. And, you know, I guess it depends on the sun. I really, really don't know. It's really odd. All right, so we have all of our little guys. And, of course, when they go back down into their pocket, you're going to see their heads sticking out. Okay. So let me get my page over here. I don't even think I've got one picked out as yet. I think I may have wanted to do something in this back one. I don't believe I've got that much in here as yet, you know, ephemera-wise. So, you know, something like that. And see, these are ambidextrous. These are ambidextrous. They could be righties or they could be lefties. So, yeah. Yeah, something like Annabelle Lee. You know, you always think of Annabelle Lee in her grave. And see, I think this is too dark to write on, so this might be a good spot right here. I've also got my pieces, the bat page that I made, and yeah, and then we got that, the hanging skeleton, and then I never did have anything. I think I was going to put one of Poe's pictures there many a year ago. It says it's a song, but I don't know what story that they made that from. Okay, there is nothing back here except for the bats. Okay, so that's what we're going to use. Let's get these two out of the way. Pull this page out. And we're going to put it right there. And I always kind of like bump my page up so I know where it goes back in. And it has to be this left side. And we're going to start gluing it in. And I think I wanted the dark one to be the center. Yeah, I think that's how it's going to be. And then this one could be down here. So let me pull that little guy out. I think if you get them mixed up, it doesn't matter. And you can use whatever you've got. I mean, if you don't want to make these like a, you know, a casket, or you don't have to think of, how about this? You don't even have to think of them as a casket. You could just think of them as a cute little tag. Now, this is a tag that does not need a pull on it, you see, because it's already sticking out. So it's sort of a different thing. You could actually put a pole on it. I don't know if it would fit, though, because the way these are going to work is I've only got a quarter. I got to figure out where that's at. Okay. I've got like a 1/4 of an inch for an 8.5. Is this an 8.5? Yes. This is an 8.5 sheet of paper this way. So what's going to happen, I'm going to have a 1/4 of an inch in between each one to separate. Now, the way I'm going to do that is to, and I'm going to set him on here to hold that down while I go to the next one. I'm going to go to the last one and put it on, and then I'm able to judge when I do the middle. So we're going to do it like that. But yeah, if you wanted to put like a little flower pool on the top instead of the ghosties that sticks out a little bit, you could do that. If you're doing something florally, you could put like a butterfly across there. I mean, what I show you doesn't have to be for the theme that I'm using it for. You can always change it up. It doesn't hurt a bit. If you're into sunshine and flowers and butterflies, by all means, use those to decorate your page with. All right, I think that's the right spot. So we're putting that one down here. And see if I can squeeze it a little bit. Go back up here and see if I need to squeeze this one a little bit more. Actually, when you burnish, it's always better. So I'll burnish now. Yeah, it's kind of cool the way my family come over, because actually the first one that came over was Grandma's half-sister. They all shared the same mother, but there was different fathers for both sets, but both of them had the same last name because they were first cousins. Don't know how that came about, but anyhow. So yeah, they both are salmons, but one of them has one father and one has another father. So they're very close in kin. And I've heard, I've talked about Leif before. Well, this is Leif Salmon's sister. Leif took care of Grandma after Grandpa Cleve died. Now I've got a little bit of a. Well, I'm gonna leave it. These two are right on the money. This one's back just a tad, but I think the lace will detract your eye from that. That's the thing. You can always put something on here. If you glue something wrong, can you see it? I'm just back a little bit right here. And I'm going to be putting this over the back side. The copper piece is going back here. So that's going to detract. And then this is going... Oh, I should have put it underneath of this. Oh, well. Let's see how this is going to work. See, I wanted this along this area right here to kind of give you the idea that it's, the cloth that's in the casket kind of deal. All right. Do I have enough for another one? If I stretch it, maybe. I might have enough for another one. We're going to go ahead and use our fabric tack, because remember, you always like to use it for anything that... And I got to clean the nose off. Anything that's like a fabric or a material, a lace. So we're going to go ahead and do this, hoping that it does not hurt the tag going in and out. I'm wondering if maybe I should just make it to where it's going to stick out just a little bit from the page. Maybe I'll do it that way. Then I definitely am not hurting, because I'm wanting to do things that stick out on the page edges eventually, after I've gotten everything kind of set in the books and I'm almost done with them, So we'll just go ahead and do that right here. And this is pretty thin. I'm going to make that one little rippled edge stick out. I like that. Yeah, just like that. Let me flip it over and see. Oh, yeah. See that nice little edge that I got? And the tone, goes perfect with that. All right. If you wanted to use your little silicone spatula, you could do that here if you don't want to get anything on your fingers. All right. So our next step is to get this on here. I've already got my crosses. And moving up a little bit here with everything. And I want to put this down here. And at first I was going to put these little creatures in there on top of the casket. And then I decided, no, they look better in here. And let me put those in and show you how this is going to look. And then we still have to get the copper piece on here. And I need to trim the top edge of that lace. But see, oh, well, that works better. Because look, they're right at the edge of the paper. Right at the edge. All right. Let's get the glue in. And I thought of this piece. You're saying, well, why are you putting that piece on there? Well, I wanted a little bit more decoration to it. And I also thought, if you're in one of those old mausoleums and stuff, you see the real intricate gate work or something that you can look in. We used to do that down at Thorn Rose Cemetery. They've got quite a few, like 5, 6, 7, I don't know how many, of these mausoleum type things there along the front when you enter. And there are certain family names, and they chose to not be buried in the ground. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 caskets like stacked in there on top of each other. And anyhow, sometimes they have these beautiful, beautiful gates. Now, I'm not going to worry about the rest of that. I'm just going to do the 2 major places. And yeah, it's just, they're gorgeous. So I thought this looked like it. And the way I have arranged it with a 1/4 of an inch in between ended up being perfect, where it ends at the top of this one and the bottom of that one. And I couldn't have done it any better. I didn't even plan that. So I'm going to push this down get this to adhere in all my different places. It's not quite on the top and bottom one. It's not quite centered, but that's okay. I'm gonna I'm gonna pretend it is. You can pretend. It won't hurt. All right. There we go. I think I've got it about all in there. And I really like that. And see, it didn't take much. You're using just some kind of, pocket system that may have came in a kit. You don't even need a kit. You could cut those out easily. Oh, let me tell you how big they were. So if you wanted to make these pieces yourself, this little tag is a 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. And if you wanted to make it longer, mine ended up being about 5 inches, I think. Well, is that right? It may not be quite 5 inches. It may be like 4 3/4. Okay, and then the bigger piece that would need to be scored at 1/4 of an inch here and a half on the sides. This one by width is 3 1/2 and 4 1/2. And then you can do the cut at the top if you wanted. You didn't have to, because it really doesn't show if you're doing it the way I'm doing it. It doesn't show at all. You have that one little hint of it, and that's all. All right, let's get this back in our book. I'm going to cap my glue because we're done. But I have those other little things to show you if you wanted to stick around and see those. Let me clean my plate off here. All right, make sure that's in there really good. You always have to push several times. All right, this one. This is the one it was in. And let's see how it looks against the opposite page. Ooh, it's heavy now. All right. There we go. I've got a little bit of the maroony color over here, which is really good. And that, see how that really catches your eye? Now, if you wanted to put something in the center of each one of your circles, you can. I may come back and do something, and then again, I may not. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. I mean, I have some Poes that are in like these little coiny things. I may use him. I may not. So we will find out. Because, of course, we've got to add Poe in here somehow. Right, Poe? Okay. Maybe let me stop playing with Poe. Let me get the rocks over here. Okay, and I zoomed in a little bit so you can see them better. All right, this one is one of the green ones that's still... And see, they got different bubble patterns. So they're like, volcanic. But there's things stuck in the bubbles. Like that one looks more like it's, frothy. And there's like something stuck in it right there. But you can see the different levels of green. See how it's really dark right through there. And it's sort of lightening. And up here it's really light. And like I said, there is something right there, but I don't exactly know what it is. But it's starting to get really light on that end as well. Now, this is one of the darker ones, and it's got bigger bubbles, you see. It's really volcanic, but it's turning blue. See the blue coming out? It's turning blue. And I've got different little patches of blue up in here. And it has a piece of wood in it. What is that? Can you see that wood? It's got like a stick of wood in there, and you can see the pieces. I don't know if it's... I guess it would be... And there's another piece over here. Can you see that other piece that's right there? That's wood. And I don't know if it's petrified. I really don't know. That's what's so confusing about this whole mess. So you can see them from the side there, the two pieces of wood sticking out. Isn't that weird? I mean, and then see, it's really dark green down there. Sort of mud green there, I don't know. And then here's another one where it's like changing. So you can see on the top, you got the green on this side, you got the pretty blues coming out on that side. And then when you turn it, you can kind of see the bubbles. And then down here you can see like a darker blue, and it's working into a lighter blue on this side. So, yeah. And then we got this one, which this one's kind of cool. It's got like a shell design. See the shell? Isn't that wild? I love rocks. But yeah, it looks like it was against a piece of shell or something. Or could it be one of those pieces of wood, because it's got sort of a, I don't know, I would have thought it would have still been on there. But anyhow, this is one of the medium shades, and you can see it working into like it was a deeper blue, and you can see it right through here where it's deeper, and then it's turning, and that's slick as glass right there. Look at that. Look how flat and shiny that is. So yeah, there's one like that. This is another medium where it's kind of turning. You can still see a little hint of the green. Just a little bit. That point right there is the greenest part. And then it started changing. And it's got the bubbles in it. It's also got some kind of other weird thing in it. I don't know what that is. But yeah, you got like the cavities. You got like the lighter shade turning. And then it's got something on it up here. I don't know what. But yeah, isn't that wild looking? So, and then the littlest, this one is the lightest. That is the lightest shade that I have of all of them. And it's almost a white, but you can still tell that it is a blue. And like here's the green, and then this is what it becomes, this really light shade over time, I guess. But then, like I said, some of them haven't turned that quickly, and some of them did. So, if any of y'all are able to explain that for me, please tell me what is going on, because I swear they have changed over time. All right, this is my goodies from Chestieta. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you thinking of me and helping me get my Halloween situation getting in hand. She made this cute little book, Shapeshifter's Elixir. It's got these cool spiders. She always finds the best papers. She has some gnomes in here. There's a little gnome guy in this pocket. And then some of these have the pieces that she has. It's like a group of witches and such. She made a cute little ghost. And there we go. And it's got a pocket back here. I forgot that pocket. I almost forgot it yesterday, and I spotted it at the last. So she's got one of these little cards in it. It has like a truck. I guess it's a double journal card, but it's got a skull on one side and a old jalopy on the other. I started going through here trying to sort things that she sent me. This top one, now this isn't exactly scrap. It's but these were like a pocket, and a lot of these were like scraps from another from her making papers and things. But there's a few other items stuck in here as well. But I have to go through all that and figure out how I can use it. And I may just do it like a master board. Here's a little tiny pocket that she made with pumpkins. And this is another one. Oh, look, there's a little pumpkin there. And these will be perfect to put into my paper bag journals. That's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. Here's a cute little crow. And then here, oh, that's like a pixie or a Batgirl or something. But she has so many different cool papers. Now that one's got a skull on it. And so then we have, I must have these upside down. But I have a pile here that I think will work perfect for my paper bag journals. And some of them have the witch thing, so I'll probably make a couple with witches. And then there's some that she's put the witch in there. And then there's some where the ovals are open. And I can do the witches myself. But aren't they pretty? Got some pretty, pretty papers. And, yeah. I don't know where she gets them, but I love all the papers she gets. That's just something I make a pocket from. These are real similar to what she sent me before, and I've got those in a lot of the pockets in my Poe journals. So I'm sure I'll be putting those in my Poe journal somewhere. She has like a big bookmark here. That's really pretty. That I can put in one of the journals. And then there's all these little tiny, like, little goodies, like witches and, like bottles, elixirs. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of different, like witchy things there. And then some more little fairies, or that was a witch. And then there was some skinny stuff, which is cool. I've never seen the skinny stuff before. But if I do like page edges or something, or little tucks, they would make a cool tuck in my paper bag journals. Then here's some of the witches. I've got them kind of together. I think this is the one that she put in. Look at that one. Woo! That's Brunhilde. And then you've got things like that. And, yeah. Lots of witchy and the craft kind of things. Like, look at that. And here's a whole stack of tags and things that are mostly witch oriented. So that's why I'm saying I can do a whole bunch of paper bag journals with a witchy element. And there's a bunch of spider things in here. Oh, there's another set of bones. I got plans for them. And then, yeah, skeletons. You got more skeletons, more spider webs, skulls. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of the spiders or the webs. And that's, ooh, like skeleton hands. My goodness. And I kept trying to figure out if that said Ramesses, like Ramesses the Great. I love Egyptian. And this stack is mostly the witch tags. It's nothing but a bunch of witches. And then a few more of those with rib cages and spiders. But it's kind of a mixture. And then some of these little skinny people. Oh, I haven't got to them yet. Wait, this one goes on this stack. And then there was some little punch outs that she did. And yeah, there's this one stack of really cool looking things here that's tall and skinny as well. They're kind of fascinating because they're so different. But I guess they could be used as tags like that. Perfect for Poe. So, oh, and that too. Anything to do with the skulls. Now, here's stamps. Yeah. And then more of the tall, skinny things. Kitties. And it's just kind of eerie. Some of these, I don't even know what they are. But, yeah, they're spooky dooky. And then there's a big bottle with a skull. That's perfect. And I'm not sure what these are. They look like some kind of recipes, I guess you would say. And then over here we have the Grinch. Now, I've been told we have to watch with copyright stuff if we're selling down at the shop. So, the Grinch, and there was something about, the Nightmare Before Christmas. I wouldn't be able to use any of those because they're going to be looking. But these are really neat. Look, there's an L. And there's an S. It's got a witch hat on it, so. And then here's a big stack of little kitties. Little sleeping kitty. And here's the C. Now, see the Nightmare Before Christmas guys on this one as well. So, that would be a no-no. So, okay. And then we have, I'm not sure what these are. They're like, almost like a storybook kind of thing. But there are plenty of skeletons and spooky scenes and bats and spiders. So I can use all of those. And then I have a few like tuck spots and pockets, and then I don't know exactly if these are little ghosts or what those guys are. And then she's got a thing of, I don't know if these are actually bookmarks, more bookmarks, but there's some more of those in the bottom down here. And then these are like a frame or a slide, I guess you would say a slide, where you would put something in there in the picture part and then fold it shut, and it's like a little tag to go in a pocket. All right, well, there is what Miss Chestieta sent me, and I really, really thank you, because stuff like this is just like, I can just put it in the journal. I don't have to cut anything. I don't have to, like the little paper bag journals, I mean, it's already almost ready to go, and I love that. I just love that, and I really appreciate you sending it to me, Chestieta. Thank you, thank you. I'll be probably doing a few of those on the side, and I'll, of course, show y'all as I make them and get them done. So, I want to thank all my subscribers and viewers. I really appreciate you coming by. Hope you got to see a few things that were interesting. And, you know, I'm always doing something off the wall, so like the rocks, you know. I just don't have a set pattern. I'm not like the usual crafter. So excuse me if I kind of go off on a tangent, or as Jody Lewis says, squirrel. So thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a great day, great health, great happiness. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.